of these challenger teams because they're smashing their competition. And if you look over to Europe, right, Misfit's one of the most hyped challenger teams. People are saying these guys are godlike, they're the best challenger team ever, and they lost to Origin, you know, 9th place in the LCS. So we'll see how Cloud9 is going to be able to fare up against NRG, the 9th place team here.
Yeah, the question is the hype real for Cloud9 Challenger? Obviously, they won the Summer Challenger split, and now it's time to show that they deserve to get this spot back into the LCS. Gangplank, Xerath banned away for GBM.
Xerath is not something that is picked very often whatsoever. Seeing that ban, definitely going to be targeting out GBM here, and perhaps kind of leaning towards picking the Malzahar or something, because I actually think that Xerath is a great lane counter to Malzahar because he consistently can poke off of his passive very easily while still clearing out those minions. It makes it a pretty nice 1v1. Vladimir, another GBM special here, so we'll see what the ban is going to be, you know, for NRG. Do they want to actually ban out Malz? Do they want to try to first pick it? It definitely seems like Cloud9 is coming in with a plan, but it is Shen taken away from balls.
Yeah, banned away in the top lane. Cloud9 Challenger now need to show that next ban. Again, this is patch 6.14, and there are a lot of power picks still on the board. No one has touched the terrifying Sivir Karma duo. And again, that Malzahar, as you said, still open, so we'll see what Cloud9... Oh, there's the Karma. So this creates the tough question. Malzahar or Sivir?
Yeah, and you know, they could go another direction as well. We do sometimes see those first round junglers. You know, you have your Rek'Sai, you have your Gragas.
Yeah.
There are still a lot of power picks in the lineup. We've even seen some teams going for things like first pick Gnar, right? Just feeling like they're confident into any matchup in the top lane, even sometimes with the Aurelia available, which is pretty strong into that. So it all depends not only on what you think is the best pick, but what you think is the best pick in this series, which can sometimes simply be taking something away from your opponents, but will be Sivir.
Yes, Sivir now locked in for NRG's OQ. He's been having a bit of difficulty with the team lately, but now it's time to show that he really wants this spot, that he really deserves this LCS spot, because he's going to be playing against Altec, who he actually replaced from the old NRG lineup.
A couple quick lock-ins there, Gnar and Hecarim, and you know, Gnar, we talked about it. People are confident playing this into pretty much any matchup. You know, will Quas have the confidence to go into this on the Aurelia, try to shut him down, outplay him in that 1v1? Because Contractz on the Hecarim, it's not really one of the most powerful early game kind of ganking junglers, right? It's much more about hitting 6, having that big power spike with your ultimate. Although you obviously can have contributions earlier, the ganks are not nearly as powerful as some of your competitors like the Gragas, like the Elise, and Rek'Sai.
Yeah, maybe looking to follow up with Inori's amazing kill record on that Hecarim and say, hey, Hecarim and rookies, it's 2 and 2 things that just go together. But now NRG, on the other hand, they're going to pick their own jungler and mid laner. They get Malzahar and Santorin on Nidalee.
I like this a lot. I think it's definitely very safe. And this actually is the Morgana here from high. Getting picked up. It could be support. You know, LemonNation did play a lot of Morgana bot lane, but actually just kind of like thinking about the pick a little bit, it seems like it would probably be pretty good against Malzahar as well. You know, with that pool, if you max your W first, you could actually clear out a lot of the Voidlings probably pretty easily. You could poke off the shield. Seems like something that would be fairly effective. Also having Black Shield against GBM for that ultimate is very, very powerful. So it would be interesting to see if that is a mid lane Morgana, kind of a throwback to some of the things people used to use to counter LeBlanc in lane, for example. And at the same time, could just be a support there to protect the Twitch, which is, you know, one of those really scary hyper carries. And we'll see what NRG is going to be able to draft to get some backline access, try to take this guy out.
Yeah, what better way to stop Malzahar than a spell shield? We'll see if that's going to be Black Shield following Altec or Black Shield on high to allow him to survive the lane a little bit more. But as you said, NRG looking for their last 2 picks in this first game. It's going to be Braum and now Maokai locked in for Quas.
Pretty surprised by the Maokai, to be honest. It's not something that has been super popular, and definitely not something that is great in the 1v1, but it does have fantastic gank assist. It also does have some of that backline access that we talked about, and they're drafting for themselves kind of this very beefy front line, you know, the Braum to be able to block up the ultimate here from Twitch. So that can be very powerful. And as far as diving backline on this Hecarim, you do have to be somewhat worried about the Maokai, because if you go deep and you just get peeled off by the Maokai, rooted, then stunned by the Braum, there's a lot of damage that could follow it up. You know, what this does mean, though, is that there's a lot of pressure on GBM and OQ to be bringing the damage, because there's not going to be much of that from the top lane.
Final pick for Cloud9 Challenger is Janna, now locked in. So that's Morgana in the mid lane.
which is what I was thinking, and I actually think that it makes a lot of sense. Seems like a very intelligent pick here. I want to see exactly how the kind of breakpoints work. You know, as you're maxing your W on Morgana mid, that's what you like to do. Will he be able to just kill off the Voidlings before they can kind of keep spawning? Because if you can actually get to that point where you have enough AoE damage to keep clearing those out, you can heavily outpush the Malzahar, and it's going to make it very tough for him in those situations. And you know, knocking off that passive very quickly with that W can set up for looking for bindings, which can mean death.
Yeah, well, the pressure is on. GBM in the mid lane going to be trying to lead NRG to victory, while Santorin in the jungle will be doing what he can to keep pace with newcomer Contractz on that Hecarim. Very high impact as Cloud9, Challenger, and NRG are getting ready. The coaches will shake hands for the first time in this series, but it will definitely not be the last. And now, it's time to let us know what you think. Which of these two teams is getting into the LCS? Tweet at LOL Esports with hashtag NRGWin or hashtag C9CWin and let us know your predictions. Two teams enter, one team gets LCS, the other team gets another opportunity tomorrow.
Perhaps gets LCS tomorrow. So
yeah,
I mean, being in this spot is very important. You know, moving past that first single elimination match that TLA and Echo Fox had, that's the really dangerous one, because at this point, 3 of the 4 teams will make it to the LCS. So you just have to be able to beat one team. It's just like if you're trying to get away from a bear, Dom. You don't have to be faster than the bear. Just have to be faster than the other guy.
The secret is trip your friends. Not faster running shoes or anything like that. But as you can see, we've loaded onto the Rift. NRG racing out to try to keep pace with Cloud9, Challenger. And there is a little bit of animosity from the Cloud9 side. Contractz, we heard from him in the beginning of the show that when he played on Ember, he was actually still 16 and ineligible to play for the LCS if Ember were to qualify for that LCS spot. But going into the Challenger Series playoffs, he was replaced by Santorin, the current jungler for NRG. And with that first round of Santorin on Cloud9, on Ember, they were in fact eliminated from the Challenger Series playoffs in the spring split. So, however, looks like we've got some action. Ghost is used. Contractz will walk it off.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get out of there. Pretty hard to actually chase into the Janna and the Morgana and everything. So they get the Ghost out. We'll see if that actually ends up mattering. But as you were saying, you know, Contractz, while he couldn't play in the LCS, was eligible to play in the playoffs. So
yeah,
definitely has to be a little bit frustrating. You put in the work all season long, and then you don't get to kind of reap the rewards and see if you could actually qualify, you know, find out, are you good enough? And I think a lot of this game is going to come down to that jungle matchup, because we have Santorin on Nidalee, which is such a fantastic early jungler, so powerful. You have a lot of lanes that have some good gank assists, you know, with the Braum, with the GBM's Malzahar, and with Quas. Like, all these lanes are pretty solid to gank, so it's going to be a lot on him to make something happen. And we do have reverse lanes, but it is those standard lane matchups. 2v2s in the top lane, 1v1s in the bot lane, and this is going to be what Santorin was looking for, and we'll see if he can make it work.
Yeah, and I think the most exciting thing is that the junglers are on the same side of the map as well. As you said, Hecarim wants to try to get that level 6 nice and quick. Well, we'll see if that is going to be the case if he continues to head towards hard farming that jungle, even though he did start off at half health. But taking a look at this lane, LemonNation trading it out with OQ and Kiwikid. He's already down to half. That shield not doing quite too much yet. It has, he's taking damage while the shield is down, but Altec is going to CS all of these minions.
And Contract's actually getting pretty darn low here. Ooh, okay, he had a smite, so he's going to be fine, and can continue to clear. He's actually, you know, ahead of Santorin right now. I'm not actually sure what happened. Santorin was level 1 on the red buff, and they had cleared Krugs, so I'm not sure if that was actually, like, if they were trying to give XP over to Quas, or if Quas accidentally took something, but he did not get level 2 off that first camp, which is something that seems to have gone wrong here. Either way, definitely a very fast jungler, and going to make his first base now. We'll be able to return, pick up that blue buff, have it for a bit of a longer time out on the map, and we'll see if we can make anything happen.
Yeah, Contractz completing his own recall, picking up that Hunter's Potion for more sustain, while looks like Altec and Lemon are going to put some pressure in the top lane. Kiwikid takes a quick hop as he soaks that tornado. And they continue to catch these minions. Now, Altec's Twitch has been a terror in the Challenger scene. Question is, can it get off the ground in this game? Will he get the opportunity when there is a point-and-click suppression, point-and-click snare, and Nidalee?
Yeah, definitely a lot of dangers, but also a lot of support when you have the Janna and you have the Morgana, especially in Morgana mid, because you benefit from those AP ratios on the shield. So this black shield can be enormous, right? Especially if they want to prioritize it. I'm not sure that he actually would want to even max it second or something like that, but who knows? Especially getting later into the game, as that shield gets more and more powerful, you have the Janna shield, you have the Morgana black shield. That's a lot of protection, can allow you to play very aggressively and try to take advantage of some of these possible Twitch assassinations.
Yeah. Possibly a throwback to the Season 4 World Championships where Twitch was so prevalent. But for now, though, looks like everyone's just continuing to farm up. Santorin getting a trap and invading the Krugs away.
Yeah, looking to get a little bit of counter jungling done here, and does spot Contractz, giving his team some of that information. And this is kind of one of the advantages that Nidalee has, is because you can move around the map so quickly. You can sometimes get an edge in that regard. And just going to go back to farming his own jungle for now. All things looking relatively even across the board.
Balls getting a lot of damage onto that Maokai. Such a painful lane. Hasn't even used his health potion yet.
Yeah, there's not a lot of chance to actually trade back aggressively here, as you're going to take a lot of damage on the way out, unless you have a significant minion advantage or he's not near Mega. Sometimes you can kind of W onto him and get some of that damage in. And now it's Contract's turn, it looks like. Trying to get a little bit aggressive here, take some camps away, but having no such luck, and may want to try to look towards GBM here in the mid lane, but decides not worth it.
That Nidalee is just so fast. Okay, his Gromp respawns. He's like, all right, now I've got something to do. Now I've got a camp to clear. So he heads over. He's going to be able to take that. Oh, rushes in. Bonus movement speed. Santorin did complete his recall, as you said, going for the Tracker's Knife.
Yeah, picking up some of that early vision definitely lends itself to playing more aggressively, to being in your opponent's jungle and seeing if you can make something happen here. But Santorin really has not carved out much of an advantage for himself, has not tried a Yanks just yet, feels pretty happy to farm. And if I'm Contractz, I'm actually pretty pleased about how things are going, because he's kept pace very well as far as the farm goes, and he has not been put in a situation where he's at a disadvantage pre-6, and that's really kind of the scariest time right now. And Contractz actually making his way up here. There's actually a ping over in Santorin, so Santorin could be in some trouble here if he goes in. Okay.
Yeah, sees Contractz with the aggressive ward that he was able to place forward, and with this, Contractz should be able to catch up. Still not quite level 6 yet. That Nidalee is so fast. That passive movement speed.
I would have liked to see, Santorin make some moves on the bot side, though. There's very little vision at all. Obviously, he doesn't know exactly where that is, but you can kind of assume there's going to be less vision because, the support is not on the side of the map. There's no early pings that have been purchased or anything like that, by balls. And this is a Gnar that has been pushing to the turret of Maokai over and over. And, it's definitely something that could have been picked on. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make anything work now, but is heading down towards that side. And if Balls continues to push in, they may be able to go for something. But for now, there's no reason for him to do so because the wave is pushing back towards his turret.
Yeah, Balls trying to catch that. Santorin clearing out the Krugs on that bottom side of the jungle. Recall from Altec. And he actually heads back towards the top lane, whereas OQ and Kiwikid get their own recall and head towards the bottom.
Yeah, we'll see if they're actually going to have Quas stay around to try to, get a quick kill on here before they rotate him to the top side, because he does have his TP. So he did save that, and that allows them to try to go for some sort of a play like this. And they are collapsing down here. Santorin's moving down. GBM was even moving down. We'll see if they can catch him off guard, but Balls is already getting out of there.
Yeah. His top laner senses are tingling. I'm being ganked. Retreats back to the safety of that turret, especially now that he sees Kiwikid. And Santorin over there is going to try to get some wards over. These minions are going to end up crashing into the turret, but here comes LemonNation and Contractz.
Yeah, High's even moving down here. A little bit of a skirmish perhaps in the river between GBM and High, as it's very hard for one of them to try to walk past the other. So Both sides do just back off, but at the same time, there's more being gained here from C9 because Altec is just having all this free time in the top lane, and this is all minions that are being lost to the turret, whereas Balls had the support come down, he was able to pick up the farm, and he's up 25 CS, where Quas is just bleeding farm out in this top side, and he's going to lose multiple waves, and it's all going to bounce, so it's going to be pushing against him by the time he finally gets there, and it's going to result in a very big advantage for Balls.
Things looking good for Cloud9 Challenger. However, NRG will be taking that first Drake with all of that presence they committed to the bottom side of the map. Mountain Drake goes down at 9 minutes. Santorin even going to use his smite to expedite it just a little bit faster as Altec continues to shove this minion wave in.
Yeah, he may want to try to move down to the bot side eventually so they don't have this kind of delayed 2v1. We'll see if they are going to make that choice or if they're happy just having Altec in this 1v1 because it is pretty dangerous to leave your AD carry alone here if Santorin moves up. A very easy gank to execute with flash available on both these guys and Maokai for that quick and easy route.
Yeah, Santorin's even getting the blue buff here.
Yeah.
Drops a ward. Contractz trying to clear out some vision. Oh, is he going to see the ward? Yeah.
He spots it. That's always something you should do as a jungler, just checking all these bushes as you walk past. Make sure you do check. And a lot of people sometimes kind of skimp on that, and it can allow a pink to sit up in your jungle, especially in those less common spots for a very long time.
Yeah, as you said, Altec completes his recall and starts heading towards that bottom lane now. As we start to hit the 10-minute mark, so far things are nice and calm. We're seeing Cloud9 Challenger open up about a 200-ish 100 CS lead.
Yeah.
But that's a big difference in CS in that top lane, as you said.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that's where they're going to look to try to exploit their advantages. At the same time, as far as gold goes, NRG did pick up the dragon, so that is some kind of hidden power there, if you want to call it that. It does mean that they're doing pretty well for themselves, and all things looking good. But it is a case, can Balls actually exploit his 1v1 advantage right now? Looks like he's probably building towards that Frozen Mallet. Picks up some early Merc Treads. A bit worried about that CC, about the lockdown here from the Maokai, the Braum, and then Malzahar.
Yeah, Altec trying to be a little bit sneaky. Will head back into that lane and sees now Kiwikid and Santorin checking in on the mid lane. Looks like we're seeing GBM down about 2 waves of minions as High going the full defensive Morgana, Catalyst, and what I assume will soon be a Negatron Cloak, just to deny that Nether Grasp. He's already got the Black Shield in part of the kit.
Yeah, he may want to just sit on that kind of casual magic resist, just pick up the Null Magic Mantle and then not actually upgrade it past that. Just wants to make sure he can survive through because you're going to want to try to get to that row of air quickly if that is what he's building for, as you always want to have that stacking very early on. At the same time, I'm really actually surprised here by Santorin.
Nobody saw that.
And the fact that he's not really even tried to make a gank happen just yet. He's just kind of power farming, and it seems like they are just both teams are very confident with their team fight, with their late game, and we'll see who's going to be able to come out on top. High just kind of TPing back into lane here, and he did pick up that Roa.
Rod of Ages completed 12 minutes in, and yeah, that lane matchup seems to be going pretty well for Cloud9 Challenger. And Santorin, as you said, just farming it up. He's only 5 CS ahead of Contractz, who's been keeping pace despite the invasions, and now he's invading on his own, stealing away this Braum.
Yeah, both junglers kind of just going tit for tat, taking camps away from each other, and neither one of them has made any aggressive moves. Contractz does have level 6, has that ultimate now, so could look to make a play around that if he does so choose. At the same time, could be a little bit tough for Santorin, trying to gank in this top side as he does fall further and further behind, because look at the CS difference now. It's 50 CS difference in this top lane, and Balls is going to get the turret, all the local gold, and he is going to be very ahead in this 1v1 matchup. Being 1,400 gold up at this point in the game is really problematic, and that's the problem about picking Maokai. If you're not actually going to abuse his gank assist, if you're not actually going to abuse that CC, then you just sit him in a 1v1 that he's just going to lose.
Quas seems like he might have known that was the case. He's got the Raptor Cloak.
Yeah.
Maybe going for an early ZZ Rot.
Yeah, it's certainly possible, and Rapid Cloak itself is just a very efficient item. That, along with the tabbies, is definitely designed to just allow him to sustain in lane, just try to reduce as much of the auto attack damage coming in here from balls. And he has double Doran's Ring, so he's going to have enough mana to keep spamming out those spells, clearing the waves. But the advantage is getting bigger and bigger, and a lot of this is because of kind of some poor map movement from NRG. They moved their team bot. They try to get a little something done there, but then Quas, they didn't want to use his TP to go back top lane, so he's losing all these waves to the turret when he was already behind. And it just makes the situation worse and worse and worse. At the same time, High has a pretty big lead for himself in the mid lane here too, closing in on that 30 CS, about 25 CS ahead right now, and bot lane is even with Twitch. I would say having that scaling teamfight advantage, so I definitely like how Cloud9 is playing in this game, and I do feel like the onus is more on
Whoa! Point and click. Santorin goes in. There's the Onslaught of Shadows to safety. Wow. GBM does not hesitate. Says, that's my pink ward. Meanwhile, Balls trading with Quas. Still getting some good harass, but gets chunked out to half inside of the minion wave.
Yeah, Balls taking a lot of minion damage there, and it was a pretty good trade. Nice flash from LemonNation. Does get himself to safety.
Yeah,
I did not want to risk getting tagged there.
Shows that despite the break in the LCS, he still has the manual dexterity to dodge that on the fly.
Yep, still definitely a very good support, and we'll see if they can capitalize on that. LemonNation without his flash, Contractz with no ultimate. These are some very important escapes for these champions, and can they actually look to make a play around that? We'll find out here. And so far, not really been able to make much happen. Quas is kind of rotating down towards mid lane, perhaps looking to make a play, but he's already been warded out.
Yeah, the Infernal Drake has just spawned, and you can see LemonNation fighting over Santorin with some vision. Fighting with Santorin over some vision. That's not the right verbs.
I mean, this is the one advantage that NRG has, right? They already have the first dragon. If they could get the second one, those are two very high priority dragons that they would love to be able to do that, especially since they have, gotten out some of the cooldowns, right? You have Contractz without an ultimate. You have High, well, his ultimate's just about up, but still, you did get some of these key abilities down, and we'll see if they can actually capitalize on that, if they can make anything happen, but Kiwikid does get tagged.
Yeah, eats a binding, but Cloud9 Challenger decide not to make any mistakes, overextend. They know that Malzahar is there in the mid lane, and Altec now pushing that wave up in the bottom. OQ catches it, still even in CS down there, but High, 30 CS ahead, and Balls nearing on
like 50.
50.
Yeah, he's 50 up, and the matchup does not get better for Quas as far as this 1v1 goes. It looks like Balls is going to not build so much towards that 1v1 though, picking up the Giant's belt, probably moving towards a Randuin's, perhaps even a Deadman's, but looking more for that kind of team fight Gnar instead of some of the other players we've seen do things like KFO, building the Blade of the Rune King, for example, is fantastic in the 1v1 against someone like a Maokai, right? Or even just the more standard Mallet plus Black Cleaver, also very good in that 1v1.
Yeah, looks like Santorin's actually trying to sneak the dragon right now. He just hopped over the pit, but a ping spotted him out. He's going to clear out the ward freshly placed by LemonNation, but he's got that Eye of the Watchers completed, so he continues to just churn those wards out, make sure he's got as much vision as he can. Now, most of those big ultimate cooldowns are back up. Spear catches Contractz and chunked down to half of his health. This might be the time.
Certainly could be, but High has his TP, Balls has his TP. They have lane priority, and it allows High to back off base, pick up some more items here, and they're looking for a gank here onto LemonNation.
Yeah, he's
TP's
got
coming
no
in, though.
flash, dodges around. Cloud9 might be trying to fight this. It's completed. High goes in. He's separated from his team. I believe that was Balls trying to go in, and now they're trying to fight in the chaos. There's the Monsoon to separate it. Battle lines have been set. Balls finds Quas and separates him. That's going to be a save attempt, but he goes down for first blood. Kiwikid will follow as Cloud9 separate NRG altogether.
Picking up 2 quick kills there for Cloud9, and the gold lead starting to really break open here. Almost a 4,000 gold, 3,500 ahead, and it's going to be a very easy dragon for them. And it was a big committal for just the support, with Cloud9 having lane advantage in both lanes and having double TP, and this was a big risk that they took. They tried to capitalize on the flash. The engage was not what they wanted it to be, and things going really bad here for NRG in the early game, as they're going to lose a turret here likely as well.
Yeah, Cloud9 shoving forward with that minion wave, with the momentum of those 2 kills. They take down that mid-tier 1. They take down the top tier 1.
And here it is again. So LemonNation, they know he has no flash. They decide to make the call. Flash committed from Kiwikid. A big whiff on that. You know, the ulti and the spell shield already down here as well. And they try to go in on high. He flashes out, trying to be very defensive. And LemonNation has a very good ultimate. Full heal from max range onto high, keeping him alive. And then it's Balls. He gets in there. He's tanking so much damage, able to land a nice Gnar ultimate onto Quas. And they pick up the front line. You don't have to dive back. They're able to go front line, and just take them out. So very well played, especially, I think, by LemonNation there. Some really good dodging on those ultimates, and a good job to keep high alive.
Coming out of that replay, NRG were able to answer back by taking that bottom tier 1 turret. So getting some gold for themselves, but it's still a 3,000 gold advantage for Cloud9 Challenger.
Yeah.
As we're starting to get towards that middle game, towards that later stages of the match.
And 3K, while it's not the end of the world, the problem for me is more that it's almost in a 2,000 lead just in the top lane. And when you have that big of a difference in the 1v1, it can be problematic. And Balls, I don't even think they can take him down here. We'll see if they're going to go for the dive. Yeah, they can.
Yeah, he is so tanky already in that Gnar form. The Warden's Mail and Giant Belt giving him so many stats. LemonNation actually roams up to try to help defend this.
All of NRG is actually coming up, so they're trying to force their hand here, trying to get something to happen. They know Altec is free farming in the bot lane, so they know they need to make a move. But High is here too. This could go bad for NRG.
The binding catches Kiwikid. The turret is still standing. The Monsoon separates it, but LemonNation will be dropped by GBM and some help from the rest of NRG. That's Contractz collapsing. Quas again separated. GBM is taking turret. He falls. Kiwikid separated from his team. Will survive another hit, but that's a frozen mallet. He goes down. Flash from Santorin, or leap from Santorin, I should say, as Contractz continues to chase. That jungle brush will not save him. Contractz completes his Triforce and completes 3 kills so far.
And as Balls goes mini form, he can actually chase him down with the frozen mallet. OQ going to be taken out here as well, while at the same time in the bot lane, Altec gets free turrets. 2 turrets for Cloud9. They're up 6,000 gold.
That was 5 kills and ace for Cloud9 Challenger for only 2, and as you said, they take those 2 turrets.
It's a 4v5, but get the ace, and that was a very poorly executed dive here from NRG. It's just watch how much this turret gets done. The turret is always shooting these guys in this dive, and they tried to make the play happen, but the turret is already on Quas. Now it's going to be going over on a Kiwikid. Kiwikid's taking damage. Then GBM walks in. He has the dot up. He's tanking turret. He walks back in, and he still has the turret aggro because of the dot. So he gets the binding. He goes down immediately, and half the team is focusing the turret. Santorin and Oki are trying to take that out while their front line is all dying, and then it's just a matter of time getting chased down here on the back end of the fight. With Balls having the frozen mallet, he just had to get out of Mega, and he was always going to be able to get this kill since there was no ultimate, no flash on OQ, and a good job by him to get that trade kill. Lands a couple crits, but the inevitable happens. He goes down, and Altec is getting so much farm in the bot lane there.
Yeah, he already completing 2 items, and now the Executioner's that whopping 0 damage, but High on that mid lane Morgana really showing up.
Yeah, did great. Morgana, especially in the earlier stages of the game, does a lot of burst, actually. If you can knock off that Malzahar passive and hit him with one of those bindings, it's going to be most of his health, actually, there. It's just in the later stages of the game, and especially against tanks, where Morgana starts to struggle, but we're far from those times. And TP coming in here from Balls. They're looking to flank.
They're trying to collapse. Quas again gets separated. Balls is so close to Mega. He's sidestepping these skills, but he's got to stay alive for just a little bit longer. He gets Mega, but there's the suppression. Can he get it off in time? They try to save him, but he misses the wallop. He will go down, but this is such an easy cleanup for Cloud9. He was able to buy more than enough time. Another 2 kills for 1.
Yeah, they get GBM, and they're looking to push here, get another tier 2 turret. Santorin should be able to get out, and Cloud9 makes the intelligent choice to not bother chasing him. It's going to be another turret as well as that 2-for-1 trade for Cloud9, and they are really taking over in this game.
Another tier 2 falls, and when Cloud9 played Team Liquid, or Cloud9 Challenger played Team Liquid Academy in that finals, most of those games were decided within the first few minutes. They were very snowbally, very, very fast to speed up. Well, it seems like Cloud9 have not lost that energy.
Not at all, and The lead is just getting bigger and bigger. The shot calling definitely coming into play. They're making all the right moves and playing very well as a team. And NRG is seeming a little bit outmatched here in game one. And it's going to be tough for them to come back in this one. And here we have it once again. High able to land the binding, and Balls, playing this as well as he could. He TP's in, he's in enemy territory, but he pulls back, gets to be able to survive thanks to LemonNation, to at least get an Omega and buy some more time. And on the other side of the fight, the front line is already going down. GBM had already fallen, Quas had already fallen, Santorin was already running. So even though Balls does die there, it's a worthy sacrifice for the team.
Hard to believe it's only 23 minutes and nearly 7,000, 8,000 gold in favor of Cloud9 Challenger. Mountain Drake is spawning right now, and taking a look at that gold.
3,000 ahead.
Oh man, it is huge. They're trying to pick off Contractz right now, but LemonNation has been all over the map. Altec, oh, that's bold. Gets a lot of damage. Silence again. They flash forward onto Altec. This could be the fight that NRG want, but Altec's in the middle, free firing. He's doing so much. Finally, he goes down. Quas still separated.
Balls is here,
NRG are so low. This is such an easy cleanup for the rest of Cloud9 Challenger. Once again, they take a huge fight.
They're going straight to it, 4 for 1, even without Balls there. Altec going very aggressive. Does pay off because he got everyone so low. Even though he does get taken out in the end, it's going to be a free Baron here for Cloud9. They're going to be over 10,000 gold ahead with all outer turrets down. Another Mountain Drake there on the map for them to take, and they can really look to try to get some major work done with this Baron and perhaps even close out the game.
Cloud9 Challenger in complete control. 11,000 gold now, but here's that fight.
Yeah, and here it is once again. Altec on the side. He sees the opportunity to go aggressive, likely because Kiwikid used his E there. He cannot block up the ultimate, so although they do engage on him, flashing forward onto Altec here, LemonNation does a good job keeping him alive long enough to really get this damage down. Look at that Hurricane doing so much work to everyone, and although he does fall, Balls is coming in. It's an easy cleanup. No chance for NRG to get out.
An absolute slaughter of a fight. Now the Mountain Drake is going to be the focus from Cloud9 Challenger. I like how they just took the first 10 minutes and just sat on it and said, you know what, we're not actually that frightening. You shouldn't be too scared of us. Just kidding. We can take these fights and we can really dominate.
Yeah, and I mean, it was on NRG to make plays happen, right? They have this gank assist from the Maokai, and they have this early game kind of powerful jungler with this Nidalee that should be outpacing Contractz in the jungle, and it just didn't happen. They made nothing happen in the early game, and now Cloud9 has really taken over. They won their lanes, and they're trying to use that to win the game.
They've still got Baron buff for another 2.5 to 3 minutes, and now grouped as 5, sieging up that mid lane, looking to break this first inhibitor of the match. GPM gets his Void Shift popped. Now the Cloud9 continue to try to whittle down these minions, trying to get some damage on the turret. That's a lot of wave clear they've got to deal with, though.
It definitely is, and we saw that the ZZ Rock got dropped in the top lane, so that lane will be pushing against C9. They will have to have some maintenance work to do. Both bot and top are pushing against them. They want to get that shoved in, and Balls is going to head down to the bot lane to at least get that one lane working in their favor, but they want to continue to keep the pressure on here. Altec even moving down to the bot side, so they're going to try to rush down this bot turret while most of the wave clear is mid. Yeah, they're going to go straight for it. Yep.
Yeah, even dropping a lot of damage onto that turret. That's all of NRG trying to collapse 4 members, but Balls just kites it out with the Frozen Mallet. And Cloud9 pulling NRG apart at the seams, trying to tear this base open.
And Altec is trying to kind of keep them guessing. He can go into the stealth. He can kind of just pop up on one side or the other. They're going to try to dive mid lane.
They dive onto GBM. He takes so much damage. He's healed, though, but Contractz will still get the kill with some assistance from High. LemonNation does not have the save in time, but the turret has fallen. The base has been broken, and Cloud9 Challenger looks like they're not content with only the turret. They're going to pick up a few kills in addition. Quas will die. The binding finds Kiwi, but he makes it back to the fountain. The inhibitor will fall.
Yeah, Contractz trades out his life there, but as the story of this game has gone, Cloud9 always getting the better trade. They're going to take 2 inhibitors here, and GBM down for a long time, Quas down for 30. Cloud9 may get more.
Oh, Balls right about to get Mega. He's trying to kite it out. The inhibitor gets scared away. Altec, at a quarter of his health, goes back in, sidesteps the shield and cleans up the inhib. Santorin dives for it, but he does not have enough to get the kill. Zhonya's, he's still right in the front, leaps for LemonNation instead. Can Lemon keep himself alive? Santorin goes down.
14,000 gold almost ahead. And Altec is actually in stealth there, recalling. So he popped the stealth first. They weren't just walking past him, but Quas is back and they're gonna get high.
He spell shields himself. Oh, and he's finally caught. The shield wears off and GBM gets the Nether Grasp. A shutdown kill is all that NRG will get. 12,000 going on 13,000 gold for C9C.
It's a moral victory, but it's not much more than that. As High, tried to TP out. Would have been pretty funny if it worked. He does go down, but still, the lead is absolutely enormous. With 2 inhibitors down, very little hope of holding on here, as all Cloud9 has to do, group 5 in the top lane, allow their waves to push in, and just wait. You essentially just have to wait it out. As soon as they go dance those waves, you can look for the kill, but a nice flash there from Altec was able to kind of keep him alive here, and then he gets big return damage in. Santorin decides to try to pick up a kill here on LemonNation, but summoners were still available, and you can see the frustration on Santorin's face there. As it's definitely got to be a disappointing game for him.
It certainly is. 1, 3, and 4 right now. He's been involved in 5 of his team's 6 kills. But Cloud9 Challenger, as you said, are just taking everything that NRG are trying to throw at them and turning it into a superior trade. Super Minions now rushing into the base from 2 lanes. And NRG have to defend.
They certainly do, but how do you do it? How do you answer 2 lanes of super minions plus hold off the team that is 13,000 gold ahead in the other lane, right? And it's where do you allocate your members? How do you actually do it? And really their only chance is finding a very advantageous engage, killing someone, and then going back to defend. And that's what they're going to have to look for. But Cloud9 should know that it is going to be the choice. And they're actually looking to flank here and just go all in.
Altec sneaks in. He's in the back line. The binding misses, but Balls dives with him. Altec is in the front now, and this is NRG just falling apart as that's 3 members focusing down high under that turret. Balls wills on away the rest of NRG, so it's 1 for 1. But they've got the minion wave rushing in and another one shoving in that top lane.
Pretty crazy dive there actually from Cloud9. Probably a bit overzealous. They could have played it a bit more patiently, but they just want to end the game. Balls may get taken down though.
Yeah, he gets separated from his team, but they can't even get that kill. Again, Contractz diving in. He's going to be stunned and locked up. The spell shield tries to save him. Altec again with the flank. This guy is so bloodthirsty today.
5-1-7 on the Twitch. He knows he's strong. He knows he has the double shields, and he's getting a little hypey here as Cloud9 are looking to clean up game number 1.
3 inhibitors down. Balls teleports in. High does not have his own. So that's going to be 4v4 for at least a little while. But Cloud9 Challenger decide to take a brief respite before trying to close this game out.
I think it's the right choice. I thought they were going to go for the end since Balls committed to TP, but they will back off here, and may as well spend up all your gold. You just picked up a lot across the board here. Going to be more items pouring in. Last Whisper now bought up there for Altec, and a lot of these guys are really getting really strong. They know there's going to be a free dragon on the map. Baron's back up in 10. Why not make it safe? And Altec going to be going in here. This is the other team's point of view. They have no idea he's coming out, and very aggressive dive by Altec, and then High going super deep into the inhibitor turrets. Gets ulted up by GBM before he's able to do anything, and does get taken out. So it's the trade, but it's Cloud9 onto Baron, and NRG knows they cannot give this up. They're going to have to try to challenge, but they need to fight immediately or Super Minions will kill their base.
Yeah, Cloud9 try to flank, however, they cut in, and this is NRG in the choke point. Contractz gets into the back line, knocks the tanks forward. He will drop to the suppression. Altec is eating so much damage, but the shields are enormous. Balls chases over the wall. He lands the slow with a frozen mallet. So far, it's a 1-for-0 trade favoring NRG, but it won't be for long.
Yeah, and they're about to lose a Nexus turret here. That first one is going to go down, and it's just a matter of time. You have to think before Quas gets chased down here. He's making him work for it at least.
Did he oh my gosh, he dodged the slow. Oh, the boomerang catches him though. Finally, he's going to go down. That's Balls getting the solo kill. And NRG playing turret defense while Cloud9 Challenger take the Baron.
Yeah, they will get this Baron. No chance to stop it this time as they would have lost the Nexus. So a good try there for NRG. They're getting some decent trades in these fights, but they're so behind. And thankfully for them, at least one inhibitor has come back up, but it is a 14,000 plus gold lead. And you push in these super minions with the Baron buff, it's going to be tough because Cloud9 can easily kind of walk in, take out the last two inhibitors here as they have respawn. And they're going to grab Cloud Drake first, it looks like. Why not?
Yeah. Just clear out the map, take every single thing you can away from NRG, and then slowly try to work forward. I say slowly. I imagine Altec is going to see a single opening, and then, you know what? I'm going to stealth into the enemy team. Drop Youmu's, drop the Spray and Pray, or the Rattata.
Yeah, these guys are pretty much going about as ham as you can.
Yeah.
This is anything but slow play. They are more looking to just kill him and win this game. And Red Pot, 4 items on the Twitch. He is going to be absolutely massive.
Yeah, Balls leading the rest of Cloud9 Challenger forward to clear out the 2 inhibitors that have respawned. The wave clear from NRG is actually fairly powerful, and you can see they're even getting some great poke down, but the inhibitor isn't going to last for too many more minion waves. And with super minions continuing to stream in through that top lane, NRG's base is not long for this world. Oh, the snare finds high. He gets knocked forward. There's the suppression before he can Black Shield. He cleanses, and that's going to try to keep himself alive. He's on just to buy time, and Cloud9 will chase forward. Altec again in the front gets another kill. Unstoppable, while Contractz gets one of his own, not to be outdone.
And that's got to be it. They tried to get high. They could not finish him off before that Zhonya's, before the CC ended. And Cloud9 are going to take a dominant game number 1 here in the promo tournament.
Santorin looking for some feel-good kills. He flashes, Balls gets 1, and Contractz will chase down the kill onto Santorin as the Nexus falls 23-8. Cloud9 Challenger take game number 1.
And that game from the very start was tilted Cloud9's way. Their draft was excellent. Their lanes were winning. And NRG just failed to get anything done in the early game. They were kind of looking a little bit paralyzed. They did not draft to win these lanes, and they did not make any plays around the map. They just kind of sat there, accepted their losses, and eventually they go into a fight where they're already behind. And it's tough to think, how are you going to win that unless you're significantly going to be able to outplay your opponents in that team fight? And
that was a bit of the concern that we were thinking of. Cloud9, they've got such experience because most of these players have been playing for such a long time, but they had strong laning phases. Yeah. Then they took a couple of team fights and opened it up into even bigger advantages. You got to start to wonder, how are NRG going to get themselves back into this?
And I think it has to just be like playing to your composition, right? If you're going to draft an early jungler, you need to be ganking, you need to be getting advantages, and Santorin wasn't. And to me, he's been such a good player for them throughout the season. So I was pretty disappointed to see him just kind of lackadaisically farming and just content to give Hecarim a free level 6. And Quas, they put him in this bad matchup. He's getting no help, even though he has some of the best gank assists in the game. And if you're going to put him in that matchup, you're not going to rotate him around the map to look for picks or TPs or something. Then why are you picking this champion? Why are you picking the Maokai? What's the point?
We're not quite sure, but hopefully the analyst desk can tell us why. For more on that C9C victory, we're going to toss it to the desk.
Thank you very much, Dom. We'll see what we can do. We'll see how much of this we can make sense of. Cloud9 Challenger out to a lead here against NRG in our first game of the 5-game series. Let's start with Champ Select, though, because we saw a lot of things that we don't particularly see in the LCS. We had a Janna come out. We haven't seen her in a little bit in the LCS. Of course, we have the Maokai in response to a Gnar, which to me is the strangest of all things, given that Aurelia is still left up on the table, and almost every LCS top laner would be happy to take that skill matchup in the top lane.
Yeah, the question is, does Quas really play it that much?
And the answer to that question is he's played it one time this split. He played it in week 3 in a loss against Team Liquid. So it points to a little bit of a hole maybe in their ability to draft against an R.
Yeah, and the Maokai just puts you behind, and I feel like it doesn't bring enough damage when they are able to draft a Twitch and then a Janna and a Morgana. I think they thought that Morgana's going to the support role, so then they had double shields for the Twitch, but it ended up being High was still a good damage threat. He was able to counter the Malzahar, and this just is a very frustrating composition to play against. High damage, they have enough peel with the Hecarim in the Gnar, and then you just have so many shields that how are you going to be able to kill that Twitch or even stop the Morgana from ulting you when you have such a low damage comp on your side.
Right, so a very inventive draft, if I want to throw a word at it, by Cloud9 Challenger here, definitely throwing NRG for a little bit of a loop in Game 1. We'll see, of course, how they adapt to that in Game 2 as we get to that Cloud9 on your screens just now. Now to address their point about, let's say, the activeness of Santorin in the early game. We definitely didn't see a ton of Nidalee ganks thrown. We did, of course, have standard lanes for a short portion of the early game. They were just flopped on sides. We had our top laners in the bot lane and the duos in the top. But Santorin not really able to make much out of this Nidalee pick.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive top lane matchup, so getting the Maokai to really get in on the Gnar, it was a little bit difficult, because that used to be a very good combo, right? When Nidalee was a premier jungler, it was Nidalee and Maokai top, Maokai great gank assistance, able to root, point and click, easy ganks, never able to pull them off, and Santorin played it more of a, I'm going to try to out-farm you style.
Right.
And, you know, granted, all of the lanes did relatively okay early, and then it was just the team fighting that really stopped NRG from getting any sort of lead from that point onward. So I feel like the fact that he played the Nidalee as a farmer in this situation when he has so much gank assistance is incorrect, and Azael's hitting that one right on the nose.
Well, let's take a look at some of those fights. As you mentioned, a lot of the larger differences in this series came down to the way that both teams operated within the fights themselves. So first up, 17 minutes into the game, 2 for 0 here in the bot lane for C9.
Yeah, this just missed ultimate from Kiwikid. The teleports come through, and then it's really
faster for Cloud9.
Fourth, who's coming through? High comes through first, and then there's another teleport, so they all jump on High, but Balls is right in the center of everybody. He has his ultimate available, so everybody's scattering, trying to get away from this tank, whereas all of C9, they're pumping damage into Maokai, and the difference between a Maokai and a Gnar is very prevalent there, where Maokai, his damage not very threatening to that backline, whereas Gnar, everybody's trying to avoid him. He's providing peel, and then Twitch just gets to have free reign.
I was going to say, you mentioned the safety for Twitch in this composition, particularly when he holds his engagement an extra 2 to 3 seconds and lets, for example, High take the focus. Between a Black Shield and a Janna ultimate, High can't go down, but now here's a Twitch who's just popped up next to me on the Malzahar. I stand no chance. There's tons of damage.
I've used all my cooldowns.
Exactly.
Like, you got nothing at that point, not a low cooldown mage at all. So Malzahar really struggles in those types of situations, because if you hold your spells, Twitch won't even come out, and you're going to lose that fight because you're not doing anything.
Exactly, very much so. So now let's jump ahead 19:30 into the game, only 2.5 minutes further. The first ace of the game coming through for Cloud9 in a top lane dive that was started by NRG.
It's also a 4-on-5. The NRG think that this is actually a great situation, and they dive with Quas, but Quas gets chunked out. GBM takes turret aggro again because of his Malefic Visions, and that is like really just High plays this fight so well. The ultimate that he uses when he comes through, LemonNation, you know, stuffs it a little bit, but it still felt like everybody had to back off and they couldn't reinforce Quas. So Quas dove the backline, and then they weren't able to assist him. They kill Quas. GBM's like, all right, time to get revenge. And then the binding comes through and it hits Quas. All right, it hits GBM, and they're another binding. So I feel like High did a lot of work in that fight that really turned around and got them 2 turrets on the bottom side.
Oh, absolutely. So with this gold lead that they then secured with for themselves, they go and pick up the Baron. They close it out pretty easily from that point. Very much what we would expect out of a team led by High, that with a gold advantage, they can close out the game. NRG, you see they're heading back to the stage as they're getting geared up and ready for Game 2. Real quick, for Game 2, Cloud9 chose blue side. So we are going to be swapping sides moving into Game 2. Now, as we did talk about that draft, I want to see or hear from you what adjustments you might make on the side of NRG now being on red side in order to counter these early things that we've seen out of Cloud9.
So what we're probably going to be seeing is very early pick mid laners. It's been the meta where people are securing like Malzahar or Vladimir very early on in the draft. So Cloud9 Challenger are probably going to drop their Vladimir ban, maybe leave it up for themselves. And then when that comes through, you get the opportunity to counter pick on the red side. And this also gives NRG an opportunity to get a good top lane matchup if they have the champion pool available for it. So I want to see NRG hold off, see what is revealed to them.
Yes.
Or take a very high priority, like if Vladimir's left, like take that for yourself. Or find a counter to both the top and the mid if you're given the opportunity. Don't squander that at all.
All right, well, that's going to do it for Game 1. Don't go anywhere because we've got Game 2 between NRG and Cloud9 Challenger coming right up. You're watching the 2017 Spring Promotion Tournament.
One team gets LCS, the other team gets another opportunity tomorrow.
Perhaps gets LCS tomorrow.
Back up, pause, back up, pause. Yeah, we're coming. Go, go, go. Malzahar, Malzahar, Malzahar. Go, 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 go. Up, 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 up. Damn. Nidalee.
flash forward onto Altec. This could be the fight that NRG won, but Altec's in the middle free firing. He's doing so much. Finally, he goes down. Quas still separated, but NRG are so low. Altec is in the front now, and this is NRG just falling apart as that's 3 members focusing down. There's the suppression before he can Black Shield. He cleanses, and that's going to try to keep himself alive. He's obvious to buy time, and Cloud9 will chase forward. 23-8. Cloud9 Challenger take game number 1.